From right to left, you see Adam Dayani of Oklahoma State, Harrison Morris of Georgia Tech, Grant Gardner running unattached, Carly Stimpfel from Saginaw Valley, Caleb Easton and Matthew Farrell both running unattached, Isaiah Labra and Stefan Rasmussen of San Diego Mesa Community College, and Cooper Schroeder of Kansas State, often running in a 12.5 lap race. Right off the bat, the two teammates from San Diego Mesa Community College, Labra and Rasmussen, go out toward the front. You gotta love the Argyle shorts for the guys from San Diego Mesa Community College.
I like that a lot. You know, it's easy to spot them in this race. It's also nice to have a teammate in a race of this distance because you can get up there to the front as they're doing and use a little bit of that pack strategy as they would, you know, in a workout. You've got your teammate up there with you. You can also look at exactly what they've done. He's gotten on the shoulder of the leader, and then his teammate is just 2 spots right behind. So they've kind of created a little bit of a barrier that's going to make it very difficult for the rest of the field to get around them to get up into those top 3 spots. So really savvy racing by the teammates right there from Mesa.
Labra's somebody definitely have to keep an eye on. He had a great year in the California Community College scene, 3rd in the state cross-country championship, 5th in the 5,000, and when you looked at his regular season, he was just winning race after race, winning the Pacific Coast Conference Championship in the 800, the 1500, and the 5,000. Early on, still very close, all 9 runners bunched together. Harley Stimpfel in a good spot. Adam Dayani with those glow-in-the-dark orange shorts from Oklahoma State is sitting comfortably in 5th place right now.
And that's really a good spot currently to be in. Even though he's inside on the rail, he's running nice and relaxed. It is a smaller field for this race. So there's a relative concern about getting kind of trapped and boxed in, but still very early in the race. They're pretty leisurely pace at this point, so I would expect things to start picking up. Somebody's going to want to break this race open here in the next few laps to start stretching things out a bit and push the pace to challenge someone to go with the rest of the field, because for those guys who are stronger, maybe on that longer distance side, they don't want to lead this into a kicker's race where you're going to have those guys with the stronger 800 or 1500 meter speed.
Right now it's Grant Gardner who's led the way. Gardner just wrapped up his senior year at Springfield High School in Utah, where he swept the distance state championships in the 800, the 1600, and the 3200, a 4-time high school state champion. And now he's dropped back, and Carly Stimpfel, who does have that best 5,000 meter PR on the track, moves into the top spot, a former state champion as a high schooler at Cass City, Michigan. 2 laps in the books, 10.5 to go.
And you can see the pace is quickening just a bit as you saw a change in the lead pack. Now we're starting to see a little bit of a little spread emerging among that lead pack, but you can still see the teammates up there in strong contention. You're also going to notice they do have those water tables set out there for the athletes because of the heat. We saw them do that in Austin, Texas for the NCAA championships as well.
Temperature is 81 degrees at the start today. Feels like 90. And like you mentioned, a pretty steady pace to start things off, pretty pedestrian pace, 3:11 over the first 1,000 meters. So on pace for somewhere around 15:40 or so over the 5,000.
Which is, of course, well over what many of these athletes have run in their careers or are capable of running. So the second half of this race, or the middle third, is where you're going to see things really quicken and somebody really start to push that pace. And it looks like we are seeing Cooper Schroeder get up there into contention. He might be the one who decides to break things open. It looks like somebody chucked a hat too. He got tired of it.
I think that was Grant Gardner who decided the backward hat wasn't really working for him today.
Well, it was backwards, then he flipped it forwards, then he's like, I'm just getting rid of it altogether.
You mentioned Schroeder. He's moved up from the back of the pack to 7th, but still has some work to do. Your top 2 at the moment, Stimpfel and then Stefan Rasmussen from San Diego Mesa College. Gardner behind him, and then Harrison Morris out of Georgia Tech, currently running in 4th place. Stimpfel had a chance to run a number of Division I schools, including a chance to join his brother, who runs at Central Michigan. Said he was really comfortable at Saginaw Valley, decided to run there, and has turned into a really good contender at the Division II level already. 3.5 laps. About 9 laps remaining. The lead still belonging to Carly Stimpfel. Now Isaiah Labra has moved up some, and Rasmussen still sits in 2nd for San Diego Mesa Community College. You mentioned Cooper Schroeder. Worth keeping an eye on him. He's run a pretty solid 14:35 in the 5,000 this year. Was 68th in NCAA cross countries. Again, that's a really good finish for a freshman at the cross-country level at NCAAs.
Oh, absolutely, especially thinking about not having that racing experience at that level of cross-country to come in and race that well, get into that top 70 is a huge accomplishment because now you've been there, you've been on that stage, and you know how to build upon that. And that's one thing that a lot of these athletes, these athletes do have that college experience from a freshman season. The rest of the field going to be high school athletes. So interesting to see the competition between your very best high school athletes and the very best college freshmen, and how those different levels of experience play out at this level, and then looking to earn an opportunity to compete on an international stage, which can be incredibly beneficial as you're going into either maybe a senior year of high school or especially freshman year, sophomore year of college.
2 miles left. Carly Stimpfel still leading. Stefan Rasmussen's taken second. Really, everybody's still here. This full field is bunched. 9 runners started, 9 still together. As we're about to hit the 2,000-meter mark and then 3,000 meters remaining. Stimpfel and Rasmussen, your top 2. Grant Gardner running in 3rd. 4th place belongs to Caleb Easton. 5th to Harrison Morris. 6:10 unofficially after 2,000, which means they went from 3:11 in the first 1,000 to 2:59 in the second. The pace definitely picked up a bit.
And as you mentioned, Stefan Rasmussen, one of those with the 10K experience. So one of those to his advantage, it's better for this race to get a little bit more honest as it carries out, as opposed to those who have 1,500 and 800 meter strength at this distance as well. A number of these athletes have tooled around in that middle distance range and flexed that, 800 and 1,500 more middle distance type of speed at this level. Those like Isaiah Labra, who was a champion at the 800, 1,500, and 5K distance.
Worth keeping an eye on Caleb Easton, who's tucked into 4th place right now as well. Easton just wrapped up his senior year at Middletown High School in Wisconsin. He's heading to Flagstaff. He'll run at Northern Arizona, which of course has had so much success, particularly in cross country over the past couple of years. Another big-time talent at the high school level. 2-time top 3 finisher at the Wisconsin State Championships. So Stimpfel still out in front, and now up into 2nd place goes Grant Gardner. They're trying to separate a bit as Stimpfel is accelerated. Now it's Schroeder who's answering the move, moving up into 3rd. Good response by Schroeder, by Easton. A couple other guys who saw that gap building, and they've run the gap right back. And now Stimpfel will take his foot off the gas pedal. And into the top spot once again goes Grant Gardner.
And Grant Gardner has great 2-mile and really solid 800-meter speed. He was, the number 2-miler there in Utah and has an 800 PR right there at 1:53. So can rely on a strong kick if necessary.
71 seconds on the last lap. 6 laps remain. Stimpfel, Gardner, Harrison Morris from Georgia Tech, Cooper Schroeder, and Caleb Easton round out your top 5.
So that 71 pace, that's right around that 71 lap, would take it down to about 14:47 pace, which you can see that's rapidly increasing, rapidly getting quicker and quicker as we move throughout the course of this race. So what's important at that, with a race to play out that way, is that when one athlete makes a move to quicken their pace, it's really imperative that the rest of the field responds. That's a make or break time. Even in a longer race where you have a little bit more time, for someone to throw in a burst and a bit of a kick, if an athlete doesn't respond, just those split seconds can be crucial, and then he's out of maybe that striking distance that he needs to get right back up into the lead pack.
Carly Stimpfel still leading, 7 laps down, 5.5 to go, soon to be 5 laps or 2,000 meters remaining. Here comes the 3,000-meter split. It's through at about 9:07.5. So again, slightly faster on that last 1,000. They go 2:57 on the last 1,000.
Again, still a pace that many of these men are very comfortable racing at. So still anyone's race, not necessarily just because you're seeing so many guys at the top, but because this pace that they're running per K right now is very comfortable for those across the range of this race.
Well, there, we said it at the start. This felt like one of maybe the most wide-open races of the entire championship. when you were looking at these guys on paper, and now we're seeing a couple runners who sat back, moved forward. Adam Dayani up to 4th. That's as high as he's been in his freshman year at Oklahoma State. He was 20th at Big 12 championships in the 5,000. He's into 4th, and Matt Farrell, the youngest runner in this field, the only high school junior out of Loomis Chaffee High School, has moved up into 5th place. Carly Stimfel and Grant Gardner have done basically all of the leading still. They're in the top 2 spots, but do not sleep on the man in the orange, Dayani, who's moved up into 3rd. He has the best 3,000 PR of anyone in this field and is a strong finisher.
And he's been very tactical. If you kind of watch just how he's progressed and moved up spot by spot by spot, it's almost as if, he attacks in every 2 laps, he's almost moved up a spot. So you can see that he has a strategy, a very well-defined strategy. And look at how relaxed he is at this point in the race. Very smooth, very in control. The guys at the front now beginning to labor a bit because they have, as you said, have done all the work up there at the top. He's in great position because out here up front, you don't exactly know. You can get a feeling for where the rest of the field is just based on hearing those footsteps. But as you can see, he is in great position. Dayani is to reel in those top 2 spots when necessary, or if the guys behind him decide to make a move, he's in a great spot to respond and then go into that second and first position.
9 laps down, 3.5 to go. The field of 9 has been trimmed to 5 in the lead pack. Stimfel, Gardner, Dayani, Morris, and Farrell, top 2 qualify for the Pan Am U20 championships.
This is where, as they get to this lap here, actually more as they get to the back stretch, is where somebody wants to make a move and really start to throw down a punishing pace and test the field to go with him. Because if you have 5 guys going into a bell lap, this is going to get ugly in that final 400, and it's really going to turn into the guy with the best flat 400 meter speed is going to come out on top.
Stimfel, and here's a move now. Grant Gardner stepping on the gas pedal, and Gardner goes right past Stimfel. It's a guy who's just a racer. Grant Gardner won 3 state championships this spring in Utah, the 800, the 1600, and the 3200.
Really impressive, especially, Utah is a great distance running state, so you think about that is no easy task for sure. So to flex that range is certainly advantageous, and now he's going all in on the 5K at this meet.
12:06 through 4,000 meters, and here's a rich spot. Stimfel, who yo-yoed behind Gardner, comes right back out in front, and now Gardner splits the middle between Stimfel and Dayani and takes the lead back.
He saw that crack of light there and just kind of wedged his way right through. Didn't want to do any extra effort to try to go all the way out into lane 2. So smart strategy, because why run more steps, more distance if you don't have to?
We have 800 meters to go, and while Gardner and Stimfel have been going back and forth, it's Dayani who still looks to be running so comfortably, tucked into 30, hasn't had to make a big effort yet.
I would expect him to, in this next 200 meters, to start to get pretty tactical, because you can see they're breaking open a huge lead. Grant Gardner is at the top of this pack.
Yeah, Gardner really starting to go, and now Dayani knows he has to answer. Dayani pulling away from Stimfel up into 2nd and gaining ground, coming back now on Gardner.
I'm going to love to see how this, final 600 meters plays out.
Give Stimfel credit. He's hanging on to the back of Dayani. He's still there. It's Gardner first, Dayani second, Stimfel about 5 meters behind Dayani.
But really smart racing by Gardner to not wait around too long, to throw in that big surge that was necessary. And he did it on the back stretch, where he had a nice long opportunity to get into a nice full stride, find that extra gear, and you can see put that extra distance on the rest of the field. Because typically in a kicker's race, if you wait around too long, this entire final 400 can be a battle. Now what he's doing is he's basically with 700 to go, challenging the rest of the field.
Gardner hears the bell, and he dropped a 65-second lap the last time around to open things up. Grant Gardner, a 3-time state champion this year in Utah, trying to run his way to a U20 national championship. Dayani has separated from Stimfel for 2nd. Those top 2 qualify for the Pan Am U20 championships. A big move came, as you mentioned, with about 700-800 meters to go. Grant Gardner decided it was time to get up and leave what was a pack of 3.
Look at how well Dayani is closing right now, too. He is not totally out of this in terms of the width.
You get the feeling Dayani's done exactly what he needed to, use just the right amount of energy to make sure he finished in the top 2 spot here. Dayani coming on Gardner, but running out of real estate. Stimfell hanging around for third. Grant Gardner, what, just a couple of high schoolers in this field. A big final 2 laps, and it's enough to take him to the US U20 National Championship over 5,000 meters. Adam Dayani with a fist bump takes second and qualifies for the Pan Am U20 Championships as well.